Have you ever wondered why, no matter how hard you try, your mind just won't stay in one place? Why you start a task with determination, only to find yourself drifting, scrolling, or daydreaming moments later? The truth is, it's not because you lack discipline, willpower, or intelligence. The real reason runs much deeper, and once you understand it, everything changes. Your inability to focus is not a personal failure. It is the natural response of a mind that has been trained, without you even realizing it, to scatter and chase distractions. Every ping, every notification, every fleeting thought is designed to pull you away from what truly matters, and your brain has been wired, over thousands of years, to respond to these pulls, to seek novelty and stimulation. That constant tug creates exhaustion, frustration, and self-doubt. You may feel weak, incapable, or lazy, but the reality is your environment and the systems around you are hijacking your attention. They are stealing your mental energy piece by piece, moment by moment. Recognizing this is liberating because it means the battle is not against yourself. It is against the forces that have conditioned your mind to drift. You are not broken, you are simply fighting against a current that was never designed to be gentle. This awareness changes everything. Once you see the invisible forces working against you, you stop blaming yourself and start strategizing. Focus becomes not a mythical trait reserved for a chosen few, but a skill you can cultivate deliberately, step by step. Every action, every decision, every habit you form can either weaken your attention or strengthen it. And the reason you need this more than ever is simple. Your life, your dreams, your potential, all depend on your ability to direct your attention fully, without distraction, toward what truly matters. Imagine what it would feel like to reclaim your mind, to work with energy, clarity, and purpose rather than against constant internal resistance. Imagine waking up each day with the ability to channel your focus, to make progress, to create, to achieve. That is the reward waiting for you, but it will not arrive by accident. You must understand the forces at play, you must build awareness, and you must take control. This is the first step. Understanding why you cannot focus is not just an explanation, it is empowerment. It is the moment where you stop feeling helpless and start feeling capable. It is the key that unlocks the door to everything you want: productivity, growth, and the satisfaction of seeing your efforts materialize into results. So pay attention now, because this knowledge is not abstract. It is the foundation for mastering your mind. The better you understand the real reasons behind your scattered attention, the faster you can reclaim it, and the closer you move toward a life where focus is no longer a struggle, but the natural state of being. Every moment you invest in this understanding is a moment invested in your freedom, your power, and your future. You are about to discover how to turn distraction from an enemy into a guide, and focus from a challenge into a force that drives your life forward. Stay with this, because what comes next will give you the tools to finally take control of your attention, your energy, and your destiny. Distraction is not just a habit, it is a chemical reaction in your brain. Every time you check your phone, scroll through a feed, or chase a fleeting notification, your brain rewards you with a small surge of dopamine. That rush feels good, and your mind begins to crave it, seeking novelty over substance, instant gratification over deep accomplishment. You start to believe that your attention is yours to control, but in reality, it has been hijacked by forces you rarely notice. Your focus is not weak, it is overstimulated. Every interruption pulls you away from the work that matters, leaving behind fatigue, frustration, and a lingering sense of failure. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for self-control and deliberate thought, tires more quickly than you realize. The constant tug of distraction drains it, making willpower feel like an unreliable ally. You blame yourself, but the truth is you are not failing. You are being challenged by the architecture of your environment, designed to fragment attention and exploit your brain's natural craving for novelty. The human mind is wired to notice change, to react to stimuli, to seek what feels rewarding, and the modern world amplifies this wiring to an extreme. Endless tabs, constant notifications, a barrage of images, sounds, and messages all fight for the same neural reward that should have been reserved for meaningful effort and creative accomplishment. Every moment of scattered attention reinforces the pattern, making it more difficult to focus the next time. But the good news is that this wiring is not fixed. Neuroscience shows that focus can be strengthened, rewired, and restored through deliberate practice. Just as a muscle grows stronger with resistance, your ability to concentrate grows when you structure your environment, limit unnecessary stimuli, and train your brain to value depth over distraction. The first step is recognizing that attention is not a passive state. It is an active choice, a skill to be developed, and a resource to be protected. Every small adjustment matters. Turning off a notification, closing a tab, taking a moment to breathe, creating a space for uninterrupted work. These are not minor actions. They are investments in your mental clarity, in your ability to resist the pull of shallow rewards, and in the long-term cultivation of focus. Each decision you make to honor your attention compounds, gradually retraining your brain to seek satisfaction from meaningful progress rather than fleeting stimulation. Once you grasp this, you begin to feel power return to your mind. Energy rises, clarity emerges, and the frustration of scattered attention diminishes. You start to realize that focus is not a matter of forcing yourself. It is a matter of creating conditions where your brain naturally aligns with purpose, presence, and action. The reward for mastering this is profound, the ability to direct your mind fully toward what truly matters, to work with energy and flow, and to achieve results that feel almost effortless. This is not a distant goal. It is available the moment you commit to understanding how your brain works, how distraction hijacks it, and how deliberate choices can reclaim your attention. Focus is no longer a battle. It becomes a cultivated state, a force you call upon at will, and a gateway to the life you have always wanted but never fully accessed. The power to control your mind is within reach, and the moment you decide to harness it, everything changes. The cost of losing focus is greater than most people realize. It goes beyond missed deadlines or unfinished tasks. Every moment your attention drifts, every time you allow distraction to dominate, you are quietly shaping your life in a way you do not intend. Lost focus does not just steal productivity, it erodes confidence, ambition, and self-respect. It convinces your mind that you are incapable, that discipline is beyond your reach, that progress is reserved for others while you watch from the sidelines. And this is the most dangerous part. The longer it continues, the more it becomes your identity. You start to see yourself as someone who cannot commit, who cannot follow through, who cannot achieve. But this is a lie that your circumstances have whispered into your ears, not the truth of who you are. Distraction may be relentless, but it is not invincible. Every moment of clarity, every act of deliberate attention pushes back against this erosion. Stakes are real. Time is not infinite, and each lost moment is irretrievable. The projects you never start, the ideas you abandon, the dreams you postpone, these are fragments of your potential slipping away. Yet recognizing this cost is also a powerful motivator. Awareness creates urgency, and urgency fuels action. When you understand that the price of lost focus is your own progress, your confidence, your future, you begin to treat your attention with the seriousness it deserves. You realize that focus is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It is the foundation upon which meaningful work, meaningful results, and meaningful growth are built. Every choice to resist distraction compounds. Every decision to reclaim your mind strengthens the neural pathways that make focus possible. And slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, your scattered energy begins to consolidate. Tasks that once felt overwhelming become manageable. Goals that seemed distant suddenly feel attainable. Your mind, once a battlefield, begins to feel like an instrument finely tuned for action, creativity, and achievement. The transformation does not happen overnight, but the first step is to recognize the cost and refuse to let it continue unchecked. Lost focus is a thief, but awareness is a weapon. Every conscious effort to protect your attention is a step toward reclaiming control, toward building the life you desire. You begin to see that focus is not just about productivity, it is about identity. It shapes who you are, what you can achieve, and the legacy you leave behind. Each moment you resist distraction, you assert that you are capable, committed, and in control. The future you want is built one moment of attention at a time, and every choice matters. The power to reclaim your focus, to reclaim your potential, and to reclaim your life is within your hands. The question is simple. Will you let your attention slip away, or will you take it back and use it to shape a life that reflects your true capability, your true ambition, and your true purpose? The price of lost focus is high, but the reward of regained focus is life-changing. Your ability to focus is directly tied to the state of your mind. Mental clutter, unresolved worries, and endless thoughts act like weights on your brain, pulling attention in every direction. The more your mind is crowded, the less space there is for clarity, creativity, and action. Each unprocessed thought, each nagging worry, competes for your attention, leaving you drained and scattered. The modern world amplifies this struggle. Endless notifications, constant information, and overwhelming responsibilities create a cognitive storm, leaving your brain exhausted before you even begin. Your attention is precious, but every extra burden steals a portion of it. The difference between those who accomplish extraordinary things and those who drift through life is the ability to clear mental space. Mental clarity is the foundation of focus. Without it, even the strongest willpower cannot sustain attention. Science shows that the brain functions optimally when cognitive load is managed, when distractions are minimized, and when the mind is allowed to process and prioritize. Each thought organized, each worry addressed, each decision simplified creates room for focus to flourish. Mental clutter is not inevitable. It is the product of neglect and overstimulation. You can change it. You can reclaim control by consciously creating space in your mind. Small, deliberate practices, journaling, meditation, planning, or simply pausing to breathe, can relieve the pressure, reduce noise, and sharpen attention. Each step strengthens your capacity to concentrate, to resist distraction, and to channel energy into meaningful work. When the mind is clear, focus becomes natural, almost effortless. Tasks that once felt overwhelming now seem approachable. Decisions that felt impossible now come with clarity. Energy once scattered begins to converge into momentum. Your thoughts are no longer enemies pulling you in every direction. They become tools, aligned with your purpose, guiding your actions toward results. Mental clarity is not just a habit, it is a strategic advantage. It allows you to work with precision, to see opportunity, to make progress consistently. Every moment spent reducing cognitive noise is a moment invested in your ability to achieve, to create, and to grow. The mind, when clear, becomes a powerful instrument for action. Focus is no longer a struggle. It becomes the natural outcome of an organized, disciplined, and conscious approach to attention. The environment you create, the habits you form, and the mental space you protect all determine the quality of your focus. And when focus is sharpened, your life transforms. You no longer drift aimlessly, you act intentionally. You no longer react to every stimulus, you respond with control and purpose. The mental clutter that once held you back no longer dictates your actions. Instead, clarity becomes your ally, focus becomes your default state, and progress becomes inevitable. Every thought, every moment of attention, every conscious choice compounds, building a life defined not by distraction, but by deliberate action. Your mind, when clear, is unstoppable, and the power to achieve, create, and dominate your purpose begins with the decision to clear the clutter and reclaim the focus that is inherently yours. Without purpose, focus cannot survive. Your brain is wired to respond to meaning, to prioritize what feels significant. Tasks without clear value feel heavy, unimportant, and draining. Every distraction then becomes more tempting because the mind instinctively seeks reward, stimulation, and satisfaction. Without purpose, attention drifts, motivation fades, effort feels empty. The challenge is not your lack of will, it is the absence of a guiding compass that tells your brain why what you are doing matters. When your actions align with meaning, your mind behaves differently. Focus is no longer a battle. It becomes natural. The same neurological pathways that once craved distraction now crave completion, progress, and growth. Every effort releases satisfaction, not fleeting pleasure, and each small win compounds, creating momentum that drives deeper, more sustained attention. Finding purpose is not abstract, it is deliberate. You must ask yourself, why am I doing this? What impact does this work have on my life, on others, on the vision I hold for myself? These answers anchor attention. They turn mundane tasks into vital steps, meaningless effort into powerful investment. Purpose rewires the reward system. It teaches the brain that long-term gain is more fulfilling than short-term escape. And with this shift, the mind begins to resist distraction naturally. flow becomes possible, energy is no longer scattered, it consolidates toward meaningful outcomes. Clarity emerges because the destination is defined, and every decision becomes easier when guided by intention. Without purpose, focus remains fragile, constantly under siege by internal and external forces. With purpose, focus becomes resilient, unstoppable, and deeply rewarding. Your energy, your effort, your willpower, all begin to align with your goals. Distractions no longer feel as urgent because the mind recognizes what truly deserves attention. The mental pull toward novelty weakens as intrinsic motivation takes over, creating a state where effort is not painful, where challenges feel engaging, and where progress is inevitable. Purpose transforms not just your attention, but your experience of action. Tasks become meaningful, work becomes satisfying, and even setbacks are reframed as necessary steps toward growth. Every moment spent aligned with purpose reinforces focus, strengthens neural pathways, and solidifies your ability to sustain attention under pressure. This is the hidden power behind high achievement. Individuals who maintain extraordinary focus are not necessarily stronger or more disciplined. They are anchored by meaning. Their mind has a reason to resist distraction, to persist when energy wanes, and to channel effort consistently toward outcomes that matter. Align your actions with purpose, and focus ceases to be an uphill battle. It becomes the natural expression of your values, your vision, and your identity. The clarity, energy, and momentum you gain are not fleeting. They compound over time, shaping not just what you accomplish, but who you become. Purpose is the foundation on which focus, progress, and fulfillment are built. Without it, attention fractures. With it, focus becomes effortless, unstoppable, and transformative. Every day you operate with purpose is a day you reclaim your mind, your energy, and your life, forging a path where distraction has no power and your attention becomes the most powerful tool you own. Focus is not an accident. It is a result of the systems, routines, and rituals you build around your mind. Willpower alone is fleeting, unreliable, and insufficient. True focus emerges when your environment, your habits, and your mental preparation all work in harmony to protect your attention. Every deliberate choice you make shapes your capacity to concentrate. The way you start your day, the space in which you work, the boundaries you create around distractions, they are not small details. They are the architecture of your attention, the scaffolding that allows focus to flourish. High achievers do not leave focus to chance, they ritualize it. They design their lives so that distraction is minimized and attention is reinforced. Simple actions, blocking time for deep work, silencing notifications, structuring tasks in advance, accumulate powerfully over time. The brain begins to anticipate focus as a norm rather than a challenge, reducing the mental effort required to sustain it. Repetition builds habit, and habit reinforces neural pathways, creating an automaticity that makes sustained attention almost effortless. Rituals also reduce decision fatigue. Each choice you make consumes mental energy. When your routines are structured, fewer decisions are required, leaving your mind free to channel effort into meaningful work rather than fighting distraction. Even small adjustments compound. A morning ritual that sets intention, a clear workspace that signals purpose, timed breaks that recharge energy. Each step reinforces the mental architecture that sustains focus. Focus is not a constant battle. It is a cultivated state supported by your environment and habits. Without these structures, willpower alone cannot resist the endless pull of distraction. But with them, the mind adapts, attention stabilizes, and deep work becomes attainable. The power of ritual is subtle but profound. It transforms the act of concentrating from a struggle into a natural expression of your mental preparation. You no longer rely on fleeting motivation because your system supports focus automatically. Every time you honor your rituals, you prove to your brain that focus is expected, desired, and rewarded. Over time, the resistance to distraction diminishes, flow emerges, and productivity becomes consistent. This is not theoretical. Neuroscience confirms that repeated, structured practice rewires neural pathways, strengthens attention, and increases cognitive resilience. Focus becomes a muscle that grows stronger each time it is exercised within a supportive framework. The difference between those who achieve extraordinary results and those who drift is not talent, not luck. It is the conscious creation of an environment that fosters attention. Rituals do not restrict freedom, they enhance it. They allow your mind to operate at peak capacity, to direct energy where it matters most, and to maintain clarity under pressure. The results compound. Each day of disciplined attention builds momentum, and each moment spent aligned with these structures strengthens your ability to sustain focus indefinitely. Master your rituals, and you master your attention. Protect your environment, and your mind becomes unstoppable. This is the truth few recognize. Focus is not about fighting distractions moment by moment. It is about creating a life, a space, and a rhythm where focus is inevitable, natural, and unshakable. Every ritual, every boundary, every structured choice is an investment in the power of your mind, the clarity of your thinking, and the magnitude of what you can accomplish. Attention is a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows stronger with consistent, deliberate use. Every time you resist a distraction, every moment you choose purpose over novelty, you are training your brain to sustain focus. Discipline is not punishment. It is the intentional cultivation of control over your own mind. Each act of concentration, no matter how small, reinforces neural pathways that make focus easier the next time. The difference between drifting through life and achieving extraordinary results is not chance. It is the repeated, conscious practice of directing attention where it matters most. Every choice to honor your focus compounds. Short periods of deep concentration extend naturally into longer, more powerful sessions. Mental energy that once dissipated through scattered effort now converges into momentum, propelling you forward with clarity and precision. Discipline does not rely on fleeting motivation because it is embedded in habit, in ritual, in the repeated alignment of thought and action with purpose. This is the hidden advantage of those who accomplish more than others. Their attention is trained, their mind is conditioned, and their energy is focused with intention. Willpower alone cannot create this. Motivation alone cannot sustain it. What matters is consistency, structure, and the repeated exercise of deliberate focus. Each time you resist distraction, you prove to yourself that you are capable, that your mind can be directed, that your potential is not defined by circumstance but by choice. The compounding effect of this discipline is unstoppable. Tasks that once felt overwhelming become manageable. Goals that seemed distant now feel attainable. Your confidence grows alongside your focus, and with it comes the resilience to persist under pressure. Discipline of attention also shapes identity. The more you honor focus, the more your mind internalizes it as a core part of who you are. You begin to see yourself as someone capable, committed, and intentional. Scattered energy is replaced by concentrated effort. Hesitation is replaced by momentum. Resistance to distractions becomes automatic because your mind has been trained to prioritize what matters. Focus is no longer a daily struggle. It becomes a state, a rhythm, a force that drives your life forward. Each disciplined act strengthens not just attention but clarity, creativity, and productivity. The brain adapts, and mental endurance expands. You are no longer at the mercy of impulses, notifications, or fleeting desires. You become the master of your own mind. Every decision, every action, every moment of concentration is an investment in this power. The ability to sustain attention shapes outcomes, builds momentum, and creates results that few can achieve. This is the transformation, from reaction to intention, from scattered energy to unstoppable momentum, from drifting aimlessly to acting with purpose. Discipline of attention is the foundation of all accomplishment. It is the lever that lifts your potential, the engine that drives your productivity, and the compass that keeps you aligned with your deepest goals. Each time you choose focus, you are not just working, you are building the person capable of achieving everything you desire. This is the edge that separates those who dream from those who do. Focus is not given, it is claimed. It is earned through awareness, deliberate action, and relentless practice. The world is full of forces competing for your attention, but your mind belongs to you, and the power to direct it lies entirely within your control. Reclaiming focus begins with recognizing what steals it, understanding how your brain responds to distraction, and building the systems that protect your attention. Every choice you make to honor your focus compounds over time. Every moment spent deliberately directing your mind toward meaningful work strengthens the pathways that make sustained attention possible. The battle is not external, it is internal. It is a daily, conscious decision to prioritize purpose over comfort, action over avoidance, clarity over chaos. When you commit to this, you begin to notice the difference immediately. Mental energy that once scattered across tasks and distractions now consolidates. Decisions that once felt heavy now feel clear and simple. The tasks that seemed overwhelming shrink as your mind focuses like a lens, concentrating light and energy on what matters most. Distractions may still exist, but they lose power because your attention has been claimed. Flow emerges, momentum builds, your sense of control intensifies, and the frustration that once accompanied scattered effort disappears. This is the reward of reclaiming focus, clarity, energy, and unstoppable momentum. Your work feels purposeful, your actions deliberate, and your potential expands in ways you never thought possible. Each act of attention reinforces identity. The more you focus, the more your mind internalizes the pattern. You become someone capable, disciplined, and committed. Your environment, your rituals, your habits, all begin to serve your attention rather than fragment it. The compounding effect is profound. Small victories accumulate into large accomplishments. Short periods of deliberate focus extend naturally into long sessions of deep work. The brain adapts, strengthening pathways that make concentration effortless and resilient. Nothing outside you has to change. Your internal alignment alone transforms the way you engage with the world. Every choice you make in service of focus is a step toward mastery. You stop drifting through life and begin acting with precision, intention, and power. Every project, every goal, every aspiration becomes attainable, because your mind is no longer scattered. It is concentrated, disciplined, and unstoppable. This is not theory, it is reality for anyone willing to claim their attention. The moment you take ownership of your focus, life itself shifts. Your actions become deliberate. Your energy becomes potent. Your time becomes valuable. You no longer react to distraction. You respond with control and purpose. Every day spent focused is a day you invest in your potential, your growth, and your future. Attention is the ultimate resource, and when you claim it, you claim everything it enables: productivity, clarity, achievement, and fulfillment. The power to control your mind, to shape your actions, and to direct your life is within you now. Claim it, and nothing will be able to stop you. Focus demands boundaries. Your attention is finite, and every distraction you allow chips away at the energy and clarity you need to achieve your goals. Saying yes to everything, responding to every impulse, giving in to every notification, is a slow erosion of your power. Boundaries are not restrictions. They are the framework that protects your mind, your energy, and your results. They signal to your brain that certain things are sacred, that attention is a resource not to be wasted, that progress matters more than momentary pleasure. When you establish clear boundaries, focus becomes easier because your environment no longer competes with your intentions. Noise is reduced, cognitive load is minimized. Energy that once drained into chaos now channels toward meaningful action. The science is undeniable. Humans thrive when they have limits. Structure reduces stress, enhances clarity, and strengthens the neural circuits that support sustained attention. Boundaries are the invisible walls that allow focus to flourish, the guardrails that keep distraction at bay, and the framework that transforms scattered effort into deliberate, powerful progress. Every decision to protect your attention reinforces this system, turning off notifications, scheduling uninterrupted work blocks, creating spaces for concentration. These are not small acts. They are declarations of power. They are proof that your mind belongs to you and that nothing outside can hijack your ability to concentrate unless you allow it. Boundaries also train the brain to value focus. Each time you honor a boundary, you signal that deep work matters more than fleeting impulses.